Hey everybody, this is Joe from Complete Carnivore. Today we're going to cook up some hanger steaks. If you're not familiar with hanger steaks, it comes from the diaphragm region. Generally speaking, the diaphragm of the steer is, you got the skirt steak and you got the hanging tender or the hanger steak that kind of hangs off the diaphragm. There's a couple different ways you're going to see it sold. One of them is just a little steak like this. These are, what does it say? About a ½ pound each. We got 2 of these. These are from a place online that sent me some steaks to try out, called Click Akushi Beef. It's a kind of a cross between red Wagyu cattle, Japanese Wagyu cattle, and Angus. Most American Wagyu you see is the black Wagyu cattle. So this is a little bit different breed. It doesn't have quite the same marbling as a lot of the other American Wagyu stuff you see. So just drying it off a little bit. You can see the hanger steak has a pretty pronounced grain running through it. It is one of the more tender cuts of meat on the steer. Some people say it's right behind tenderloin. I think flat iron and Terrace Major are both up there as well. But it's a delicious steak. It's a little more minerally, a little more of a stronger flavor than you get from a lot of different cuts. But let me show you how else you'll see it sold. It's like these, you can just season them up, grill them up, you're good to go. A lot of times when you get a hanger steak, it will come, this one's like 1½ pounds, but it'll come like this. And the problem is, right down through here, there's a pretty wicked membrane, big piece of sinew, connective tissue that you got to get out of there. And then you're left with kind of two different sides of the hanger steak. The right side is going to be a little bigger than the left side. That's just how they go. So let's just start. We'll cut down through kind of on one side, and then we'll trim it up and take the other piece off. This is still just slightly frozen, which might make it a little bit easier to trim up. So yeah, I kind of got pretty close to it. You can see there's a couple little really tough sinewy bit here. So let's just take this off. These are going to cook fairly quick on the grill. I'm probably not going to do anything fancy with them. I'm just going to put them on and sear them up and flip them over a bunch of times. You can trim off this if you want. I think I'll leave that. Might as well. There's a little bit here I want to take off. Okay, now we got this side, which is bigger than these. These look like the left side. Maybe the right side, but I don't know. You can see the different marbling in these. This is just from like I said, a ranch up just north of town where I live. Quite a bit more marbling in the American Wagyu one. So now we got to get this tough sinewy bit off. So you just kind of slide your knife underneath, angle it up a little bit, and drag it through. Since it's a bit frozen, this cuts really nicely. You can try to get every little scrap of meat off you want, but if I have a little bit on there, that's not bad. But yeah, this is tough. It's not going to render down. It's not going to be something you'll be able to bite through. And what you're left is some delicious little steaks. This should feed our family tonight. Shouldn't be any problem with that. We got 4 kids, 10 and under, and us, just to kind of give you an idea. So, like I said, it's got a great flavor. It's a little bit more minerally, not quite to the level of liver or anything like that. Kind of similar to flank, I would say, but it's got a great texture to it. I really love the texture, just with the bigger meat fibers, the more pronounced grain. I'm gonna trim a little bit of this off here. That looks like it'll be pretty rough. You can kind of trim off as much or as little as you want. Again, if you get a tough piece of sinew, you won't be able to bite through it, but you can always just cut that out. One problem with cooking, though, with big gristly bits like this in there, if you cooked it with this and you didn't separate it and you just did it when you're eating, that part is going to contract and shrink up, and you're going to be left with a really weird, funny looking steak. I've seen some done like that. It just looks kind of weird. I don't care for it. But what I'm going to do now, get rid of the garbage here. See if I can do it without dripping everywhere. I'm going to give them a little bit of salt and let them sit in the fridge for a few hours. If I was thinking, I would have done this last night. Kind of the process is called dry barning. Salt it, let the salt and water kind of mix, penetrate the meat. You get seasoning all through the meat. For steaks this thin, you're fine with just a few hours. if I was doing like a big old thick ribeye or something, I'd try to go at least overnight, maybe even 2 nights. Let's get this a little bit here. Maybe even 2 nights on it, depending on how thick it was. But for this size, just a few hours is gonna do the trick. Don't use a ton of salt, because I'm still gonna give it a seasoning rub later. You can just do salt and pepper if you like. I've done that many times on hanger steaks. But there's a rub. I'll show it to you here when I'm done salting. That I've had it in the past and I really liked it, and I haven't had it for a while. So I ordered some and I decided I want to use it on these hangers. So let me get this last one salted. Then these just sit in the fridge for a couple hours and dry brine, let the salt flavor penetrate the meat. Let me get to my cupboard. Got a whole bunch of different rubs up here, but the one I'm going to use for these, and I'll do this right before I cook it, is the Hardcore Carnivore Black. Jess Prowls is the lady that runs Hardcore Carnivore. She has some great rubs. This one has charcoal in it. That's why it's black. Gives a great color to the meat. It's got a great flavor too. I mean, the ingredients are salt, garlic, sugar, black pepper, chili powder, onion, and activated charcoal. It's nothing super fancy, nothing super crazy, but it just gives a good flavor to meats like this. I love it on tri-tip, on flank steak. She has another rub that I just got. She just released this a couple weeks ago anyway, but Hardcore Carnivore Sweet. And I've tasted this. It seems like it would be excellent on chicken wings, chicken legs, thighs, ribs. It would be great on pulled pork, anything like that. So I'm going to try that one out too. I'll put links to these below. You can go see what you think of them. But we're going to put these in the fridge for a couple hours and come back later, and we're going to grill them up. I'll probably use my PK grill tonight because we just need some good direct heat on them. Again, we're not doing a reverse sear. We're not anything like that. We're just going to put them on, flip them a bunch, and cook them up. So we'll be back in a bit with that. All right, we're ready to grill. Got these seasoned up with Hardcore Carnivore Black. You can see that beautiful black color. We're going to be cooking on our PK grill. Got some Jealous Devil lump charcoal. That stuff is really hot, probably a little bit too hot, but we just kind of wanted to get the steaks on there, and we'll flip them every 30 seconds, minute. One nice thing about the black rub, the rubs with charcoal, there's a couple others. Fogo, the charcoal brand, they have a rub with charcoal in it. I think this one tastes a little bit better. Is even if you can't get a good sear on your steaks, they're still going to look pretty cool. They're going to look nice and dark. So like I said, we're just going to be flipping these. We'll move them around, we'll change sides. If things are getting too hot, I got a cool side of the grill over here. I always like having at least some cooler spot if things start getting out of control. And we want to get these about 125 degrees, maybe 130. You don't want to get too much higher than that. If you start getting too higher than that, they get tough. Too little than that, and they're kind of when they're rare, they just don't feel right. So I like hitting that 130 mark, 125 at the lowest, maybe even up to 135. But kind of keep the hanger steaks in that range, and I think you'll enjoy them. So should take 5-10 minutes. Shouldn't be too bad. But yeah, just flip them every 20 minutes. If you turn them around so both sides get kind of even, you can move this one down here, that one over there, whatever you want. So we're just gonna let these keep cooking, and we'll come back in a few minutes and see the finished product. About 5 minutes in here. These are actually getting pretty close to being done. They're right about, what we got? Oh, it's still about 100, depending on how far in you go. One good thing about the Thermapen 1 is right at the tip is where the temperature is measured. A lot of thermometers, you need to measure it right there, but with thinner steaks like this, you only need to put it in, I don't know, ½ inch or so, and you can get a good accurate reading. So we're looking at 109, 108. A couple more flips and these will be done. Good thing about hanger steaks and other kind of thinner steaks like this, they're great weeknight meals. Like I said, it takes 5 or 10 minutes to cook. We got corn on the cob cooking inside. We got some twice baked potatoes left over from last night that we're going to eat. Simple dinner, and it's delicious. It's really one of my favorite cuts. Obviously ribeye, hard to beat a good ribeye. But if you get a good big thick ribeye, it could take an hour to cook. These cook in 5 or 10 minutes. So again, you just want to keep flipping them. You don't want to let them sit on one side too long. By flipping them, it helps keep even heat going into it. Because the bottom of this right now is getting blasted with heat. Flip it over, some of that heat dissipates out. Get a more gentle heat going into the steak. So it makes for a nice even steak. Let's give this a check. We're looking about 125 there. Let me check a couple more spots. Yeah, these are right about done. This one here, yeah, about 125 on that. It's really hot to stick your hands over this, but it reads quick. Oh, that one needs a couple more minutes. That's about 115. Let's pull this one over here so I can not burn my hand. Yeah, we're looking at 120. I'll let you see that there, 123. So another flip or two, and we're gonna call these good. We'll give them a little bit of a rest, like 5 minutes or so, and then I'll cut into it and show you what they look like, and then I'm gonna eat dinner. I won't show you that part, but we'll be back in a minute and we'll cut these, show you what it looks like. All right, it's time to cut into this and take a bite. You can see the grain kind of runs this way, so I want to kind of cut a piece this way and then turn it and slice it. You'll see. So I want to make a cut like that, kind of going with the grain, and then I turn it and I may cut the little pieces like that. That way you get some nice pieces against the grain. It should be nice and tender. It's hard to see the color in the sunlight out here, but this is a nice medium rare. Let's take a bite. That is so good. That is delicious. The this rub really complements the flavor of this meat well. The meat's super tender, super flavorful. This is one of the pieces of the American Wagyu from Kikuchi. Let me try a little piece of this one, which is from just local ranch around here, a place called Lone Crow Ranch. This one's not, it's a little more rare than the other one. It's not as well marbled as the other one. I'm expecting it to taste delicious though. Yep, nothing wrong there. That's a delicious steak. Again, hanger steak. Comes from the diaphragm area, similar to this, pretty close to the skirt. It's a wonderful tasting steak. You can use it for like carne asada. You can cut it up for things like that. Bulgogi tacos would be great. But I like it just cooking like this. Cook it up. Make sure if it comes in the the full hanger, you cut that membrane out the middle. Excuse me. But cook one up. Go find one. Talk to your local butcher. I'll put a couple places online that you can order them. Snake River Farm sells them. A place called Porter Road, which is one of my favorites. They sell them. Kikuchi, I'll put a link to them as well. It's not one of the most expensive cuts either. It's usually kind of in the for good ones, it'll be a little less than ribeye, but it's an excellent steak. Again, they're usually about half a pound for one side of it, maybe a pound and a half for the full one. So you can feed 2-3 people out of a full one pretty easily. More if you guys don't eat much. The flies are starting to come out, so I'm gonna get this in. We're gonna get dinner on the table and we're gonna eat. Try a hanger steak. If you have any questions about how to cook it, leave them below in the comments. I pretty much answer every comment I get, and I want to keep doing that as long as I can. So if you have any questions about cooking them, about where to get them, kind of what they are even, let me know, and I'll answer as much as I can. Be sure to like and subscribe if you appreciate this video. If you don't appreciate it, well, I'm sorry. Let me know what I could do better. But I'm gonna go eat dinner. So thanks for watching.